I'm Keith R.A. DeCandido, author of a whole lot of books, two of which are right here, and which relate to this particular IndieGoGo campaign. I am raising money in order to do two new short stories in two of my original universes. One is in the Dragon Precinct universe, which I created 15 years ago now, with that novel, Dragon Precinct, and its various sequels and short stories and such. In this particular story, I am telling the story of the Gorvangin Rampages, which is something that happened in the year that was between Griffin Precinct and Mermaid Precinct, and there aren't very many specifics yet, but that's what the story's for. So, in addition, since 2011, I've been doing a whole bunch of stories that take place in Key West, urban fantasy stories, starring a weirdness magnet named Cassie Zukav. Many of them are collected in Ragnarok and Roll, which is a collection that came out in 2013. And I'm actually planning to do a second collection, which is going to be called Ragnarok in a Hard Place. In order to do that, I need to write the title story for same. While there are plenty of Cassie stories that have been written since Ragnarok and Roll came out, I want to, in particular, tell this next story, which I haven't had a good place for yet. Two of the main characters, or supporting characters, rather, in the Cassie stories are Odin and Loki, two of the Norse gods. Other Norse gods are in it as well, including Tyr, Thor, and Sigyn. And I wanted to tell the story that basically brings Loki and Odin back after having been killed in the Cayo story and in Fish Out of Water. So I'm going to do that via the crowdfund route. So this IndieGoGo campaign is twofold. The first fold is the Gorvangin Rampages, filling in some of the gap between, in the one-year gap between Griffin Precinct and Mermaid Precinct. And number two is Ragnarok in a Hard Place, which will be the big, massive story that brings Odin and Loki back to Key West, much to the surprise of Cassie Zukav, who, as a Norse fate goddess, has to, well, deal with it. So there are lots of cool rewards. If you just want one of the stories, it's $5. If you want both stories, it's $8. If you just want an acknowledgement in the story, it's only $1. That's it. But there's other things, including a story bundle, which will be a random sampling, basically, of my short fiction, my original short fiction. There'll be a Dragon Precinct story in there. There'll be another Cassie story in there. Bunch of other stuff, too. Some Shirley Holmes and Jack Watson stories, which are my Holmes and Watson pastiche stories. Super City Cops. Some other stuff that's just original fiction that I've written over the years. Lots of different things. I'm also offering an audio of me reading each story. Plus some nifty physical rewards, including either a tote bag or a stuffed bear or a stuffed cat, all of which will have the Dragon Precinct logo here embedded as part of the design of the fabric that the bear, the stuffy, and the tote bag are made from. You can also get a book bundle, which will have these two books, as well as all the sequels to Dragon Precinct. So Dragon Precinct, Unicorn Precinct, Goblin Precinct, Griffin Precinct, Mermaid Precinct, Tales from Dragon Precinct, and Ragnarok and Roll all together. Plus all that other stuff. Each reward is cumulative, so you can, all the previous rewards are part of it. So you can also get everything. You can get the tote bag, the bear, the cat, the book bundle, story bundle, audio, acknowledgement, stories, the whole schmear, for $475. We're doing this through IndieGoGo instead of Kickstarter, as we have in the past, for a number of reasons. Not the least of which being that we don't have to actually make the goal. I'm going to do these stories regardless, and whoever pledges the money will get the story, no matter what. I've really enjoyed doing stories via the crowdfund route. It's worked very successfully with previous Dragon Precinct stories, including the first cases for both Tauren and Danthras, which was When the Magic Goes Away, and Baker's Dozen, with a couple of more unusual tales, including Gan Brightblade versus Mitos the Mighty, and The Fall of Yaren. So we're doing it again. Hopefully you will come along for the ride. It's cheap at half the price. It's only $5 for the story or $8 for both. If you enjoyed the Dragon Precinct stories, if you've enjoyed the Cassie Zukav stories, then you will probably enjoy these too. Thank you very much for your support. Take care.